it's me, Logan Games 899. I'm here, and I am making a tutorial on how to beat the Maniac Mania mode in Five Nights at Sonic's Maniac Mania. If you've gotten to this point, that's impressive. But can you beat the ultimate challenge? If you didn't know, this was like the 50-20 mode of the Five Nights at Sonic series, and I've beaten it earlier. So, I'm here to make a guide on how to beat it. So the first couple of things I'm going to give out are tips and tricks, and I'm going to be playing my video at low speed, just so you can get a feel for how this mode works. So the first thing that I want to talk about is preparation. The first thing that you're going to want to know in terms of preparation is a lot of the stuff in this video, in this challenge, applies to Ambience's 50-20 mode video at the start, such as only play when you feel like it or else you'll resent the game. But I'm not going to go into too much in detail of that kind of thing, because you could just go over and watch that video instead. I am going to say, though, don't try this mode until you've beaten all of the other challenges. Especially things like Room for One More and No Strings are going to be huge helps to this night, because it can prepare you for chaos. Also, you can also try other types of max modes, but without everyone in it. For example, you could go for what a lot of people do in UCN, and that is do something like 30-50 or 25-50, which will help you get put into how to do this. This is basically like one of the most difficult challenges in the entire FNaF series, if not the most difficult. This is only probably not the most difficult because of Encore mode, which does exist. I might or might not make a tutorial on that, depending if I end up beating it or not, but you know. But this is basically the final challenge, the ultimate challenge, the 50-20. Congratulations if you make it to this point. So now, let's actually get started with the video. I'm going to start things out on 0.5 speed so you can get a feel for how this is going to go. So immediately, you're going to open up the camera, go to floor 2, go to camera 22. I'm going to go back a couple frames because of this. If you see him on the camera, then exit out and go back in, or just click on the camera number again. Don't stay on the camera for very long. He doesn't give you that much time before he kills you. Charge the power up until you reach 20 seconds. I'm just going to send through this because you really just need to get up to the point where we're about to hit 20 seconds. Around here. Charge it for up to 20 seconds or until you see Golden Sonic there, and then switch back to floor 2 and go wind the music box. After winding the music box, go to cam 6, hold the light on Tails, go back and wind the music box some more. Exit out of the cameras and then check both doors. Make sure you spam the flashlight button, and if you hear that, remember this noise. If you hear that noise, then just keep your mask on until you hear On Next Time by Balloon Toad. But before doing that, it's a good idea to check both vents to actually be sure he's there or not. Make sure to spam control because of Withered Tails, and every time you close the camera, open the mask back up. Again, once you figure out when the coast is clear, then wind the music box, and from here, you can either do two things. If you want to do a little bit of a harder strategy to get rid of a little bit of more RNG, it's still a bit more RNG dependent, and it's still a little bit of a harder strategy, but it's not that much different. I recommend this strategy because it's not that much harder than the other one anyways. The first strategy is the one I'm doing, to go over back to cam 22 and charge the power for a little bit. If you don't want to do that, then just go to cam 6 and keep Nightmare Tails at bay. I like this strategy a lot more because charging the power is extremely important during the night. But whenever you close the camera, you're going to open the mask back up. And this is when the actual start of the night begins. If Balloon Toad enters, as soon as Balloon Toad enters, close the camera and stop what you're doing. Again, spam control on Withered Tails, but you're going to check both doors. This is to make sure that Sonic is not at the door, or other animatronics could also be there. But mainly Sonic is the one that's going to get you, as he's more common to show up at the door, I figured out. Go on the music box after what you're doing, and check both doors again. Spam the light on Withered Tails. Once the coast is clear, go back into the cameras. Make sure to keep Nightmare Tails at bay and on the music box. If you ever hear that bang noise, this one, if you ever hear that noise, make sure to shut your top vent. And make sure to shut your top vent. If you ever see eyes in the door, do not use your light and shut the door as fast as you can. If you use the light, they will immediately kill you. However, they do give you a little bit of time at the door. It's not very much, but they do give you a little bit. Anyways, once you stop hearing the noise of the Febreze spray, or whatever you want to correlate that with, I just like to correlate it with Febreze spray. Once you stop hearing it, then you can check the doors. Now, next step. If you either see this tentacle at the top, I'm going to rewind it a bit. If you ever see that tentacle, or you have on headphones, better yet, and you'll just hear where it's running from. If you hear that running, shut the door on Nightmaric. Keep the mask on for you're going to want to be keeping the mask on for basically most of this night. The mask can help you deal with multiple animatronics. It can help you deal with two of the FNaS 1 animatronics, those being Mario and Yoshi. Most of the FNaS 2 animatronics, those being all of the toys and 3 of the Wizards, and it'll also deal with all of the Withered Toy animatronics. Speaking of, if you hear the footsteps of Withered Toy Mario or hear Withered Toy Sonic running in the cameras, stop what you're doing, shut the cameras, and put the mask on. If you have the cameras up for too long when they're in the office, they'll just kill you, unlike the other guys. Also, if you hear the dragging from Withered Toy Yoshi, then you're going to want to do the same thing. But she gives you a little bit more time than the others. Again, there's the Febreze spray. If you hear that "Hey Luigi," then look at this plushie. It's important to have this plushie. He costs 5 rings, and he'll point where any of the Golden Sonics who show up at your door, and you need to use the light on him. Those being Shadow Sonic and Origin Sonic, and the other Golden Sonic that shows up at your door, and you need to use the light to get rid of him. He'll just point where he is. Now comes this part. If you hear Origin Sonic, you're going to want to check the vents first. He's a bit more common there, at least I'm pretty sure. If he's not in the vent that he's pointing to, then you know he's at the door. Here you know he's at the vent because he wasn't at the door. If you see Clone the Mighty at the door, at least about 65 to 70% of the time, regular Sonic was at the door, for me at least, from my experiences. Because of this, I just like to shut both doors whenever Clone is there. Or Sonic. Just shut both doors if Balloon Toad is active and Clone the Mighty is active. If you see these ears here, they're a bit more difficult to see because the mask takes up a lot of the room, but this is Origin Sonic. Just hold the light on him and he'll go away. If you hear that fluttering, then shut whatever door you heard it from. He doesn't really give you a cue, and if you don't have headphones on, just shut both doors or check one of the hallway cameras. If he's not on one hallway camera, then shut the other one. You know it's there by process of elimination. However, if he is on that one, then you're going to shut the door he's correlated to. I have headphones so I can hear which way he's coming from. If you see this triangular warning thing at the bottom, don't panic, but it means you have to wind the music box quickly. Luigi Net gives you a lot of leeway when it comes to this kind of thing, but it's still a very good idea to wind the music box as quickly as you can at this point. After this, you can do one of two things. Well, really one of three. If you haven't kept Nightmare Tales at bay, it's a very good idea to go do that as fast as you can. However, if you have recently, then it's a better idea to go to floor 2 and charge the power. Charging the power is very important during this night, but it's very important to know when you can. It's best whenever you have free time and when a bunch of office animatronics have just left and you know that the music box is wound and Nightmare Tales is at bay. If all those things occur, then it's a good idea to wind the power. You can even wind the music box, look at Nightmare Tales, and take out about 3 birds with 1 stone. Because Nightmare Tales is at bay, because if Nightmare Tales is at bay and you still have free time, it's a good idea to charge the power. Don't do it for long, as being in the cameras for long periods of time can really make things more chaotic. More office animatronics, and also if an animatronic's at your door and it's not shut for too long, then they're just going to kill you. So try and minimize the amount of times you spend in your camera, but it is a good idea to do all the stuff that you can in the cameras, especially winding music box. Again, if you hear that bang, then go ahead and shut the top vent. Now, if you hear a squeaking noise, kind of like with a dog toy, then that means that Plush Nick and Plush Tails are in the center. Hold your light on them, unlike with Withered Tails, instead of having to repeatedly flash your light. You need to hold your light with Plush Nick and Plush Tails. This will be very important, as if you just use your light, it'll just stop them and they'll not go away. This is also a good time to talk about Tails Doll. Wherever you see Tails Doll, and if he's there, or you hear a noise similar to the FNaS 3, if Springtrap is near you, or if Phantom Freddy is walking in front of you, that would be a good idea to know that the Tails Doll is here. All you have to do is look at the Tails Doll. Again, if you see this Toy Sonic here, that means that wherever he's pointing to, there's one of the Sonics that you need to hold the light on him. Anyways, there you heard the Withered Toy Yoshi's dragging, and that's how you can know not to be in your cameras for too long. Again, there's the bang. I'm going to put this at normal speed. But, again, you saw this thing at the bottom here. You're going to, well, I don't know if it was at the bottom there or not. But anyways, whenever you get free time, it's a good idea to go on the music box, keep him at bay, and sometimes even charge power after that. Again, if you see red eyes in the door, do not use the light, as the Nightmare animatronics will kill you. The tentacle was coming from the right, then just keep your door shut if your door was already shut. You're going to want the music box and try and flip your mask up as fast as possible after flipping the mask down. Again, you heard the Origin Sonic, and he's pointing there. That means he's either in the vent or the door. In this case, he was at the door. Then comes Dr. Golden. If Dr. Golden shows up in your office, find the one with the glowing gem and shut the door. Then check the other door. If nobody is there, then you can just keep it open. If someone is there, in which case, and you need to go use the camera, then you're going to just want to keep. Then, if you need to use the camera, then just shut the door. However, if not, and either Mario or Yoshi is there, then just keep your mask on. They get fooled by the mask. Then you can go over to Cam 2, or camera 22, and charge up the power. Then, again, this wasn't a very good idea, as I was very much probably on the verge of dying to Withered Toy Mario, and so if you hear his footsteps, just stop what you're doing. When the Mighty's there at the door, shut it, and I like to keep the other one shut as well. Then just keep flashing the light on this tails, and you can see this at the bottom. Now again, he gives you a lot of leeway, but it's still a good idea to go wind the music box whenever you can. When it turns red, you're gonna want to wind the music. You're gonna want to get there as fast as you possibly can. The music box is being wound down quickly. Again, the banging occurs. You're gonna shut the top vent, and then you can you can check the doors again. Again, if you heard Tails at the right door, and you also heard Nightmaric at the left door, in which case you would just shut both doors. Nightmaric, Tails. Then you can open up your cameras again, and whenever you have both doors shut, it is a good idea to go wind power. I chose to stay on cam 6 as I haven't kept Nightmare Tails at bay for a long time, and I only needed a little bit of time for this. Next, just open your stuff, and you can see Dr. Golden again. This time you know that he's not the left one, but he's the right one. But because by process of elimination, you know it's not this one, it's going to be the one to the right. I chose to open my cameras because Dr. Golden gives you a lot of leeway as well, and I already had the door shut anyways. If you see Salvage Sonic walking up, then it depends on which way he's walking. If he's walking from the right window over to your left, then you're going to go play audio in cam 13. If he's walking from the left hallway over to your center, though, then you're going to play audio on camera 12. He doesn't give you much time, but I was trying to be as fast as I possibly could. This is another instance of how you know the music box gives you a lot of leeway, as it is on red, and I still have a lot of other priorities to deal with, such as Tails doll and the animatronics with the mask on. But I do, again, go as fast as I possibly can, and it works out. Then comes the Plushnik and Plush Tails again. And then, this is a good idea to tell what happens in a ventilation error. Of course, if a ventilation error occurs and you have nothing to deal with so far in the cameras, then fix the ventilation. However, if you absolutely need to do something in the cameras, you do have a little bit of leeway with the ventilation. Don't spend too much time with it, but you're gonna want to. Don't spend too much time with it. But if you have something you absolutely need to deal with, then deal with it as much as you can first. This only racks up to a certain amount of time, and eventually you will need to fix ventilation. Just make sure there's nothing you need to do on your cameras at the moment. Again, you saw him when you're winding the music box. Just shut it and open it back up again. I can't quite open it back up again because of the office animatronics. It surprises me so far how I haven't talked about Phantom Tails yet. Phantom Tails will appear on either the left or right side of the office. If you look at him for too long, then he'll give you a jump scare and cut off your ventilation. You're gonna also not want to try to get jump scared by the Phantom animatronics a lot, as they waste power, which is very precious, and they don't give you much at all for this. The power runs out extremely quickly with all the hecticness, and you're gonna want to waste as little as possible. If you see Dr. Golden here, again, I knew he gives you a lot of leeway, and he also gives you a sound effect that you can hear when he's about to go. I'll go ahead and rewind it when the sound effect plays. But I see Shadow Sonic here, and while the door blocks him, I'm gonna just get him over with here. Before opening up the cameras though, I did realize that this diamond is glowing, so I'd have to shut the door anyways. If you have a video error, it is a good idea to fix it. But again, you'll notice I haven't checked on Nightmare Tails a lot. I need to go check on Nightmare Tails, and you cannot tell, but I'm here holding control here. This is important because I know that he's most likely in his standing phase if he hasn't already left yet. I cannot figure this out yet because I have a video error. So after fixing the video error, I So after fixing the video error, I'll go back into the camera and keep him again at bay. But the sound effect for Dr. Golden leaving had just played, and here it is. I'll play it again. It goes from high, fast notes to low and deeper notes. And slower as well. That's how you know Dr. Golden is entered or left, and I open up both doors here. Then just spam control at Withered Tails, and go and do the other stuff. It's basically a repeating cycle of trying to get good RNG, flashing Withered Tails, keeping everyone else at bay, and checking both doors. So from here, there's not really much else to say, as I feel like I've already said all that can be said. There's another thing that I haven't talked about, and that is this thing. If you see Phantom Yoshi on the panel, then try not to open the panel. If you absolutely need to open the panel and Phantom Yoshi is on the panel, then you can make an exception optionally, but you're going to want to charge power as much as you can afterwards. Again, Phantoms take away power, and that's not a good thing. I've done it occasionally when the ventilation runs out, and I absolutely needed to. Now for the time at the end of the night. Here you're going to have around 10% or less power. When this does eventually happen, you're just going to want to go over to floor 2 and charge the power. There are only a few reasons why you would need to flip down your monitor here and try and survive some more. And that is only if you absolutely need to do something. In which case that would be if any of the Withered Toy animatronics go. You really absolutely need to wind the music box. You really absolutely need to keep Nightmare or Withered Tails at bay. But other than that, you're going to have both doors shut. In fact, all three of them shut. In which case, have all three shut and just charge the power for the rest of the night until it goes out. But here, of course, I absolutely needed to take down the monitor because Withered Toy Mario was on his way. I knew that I was going to run out of power here, but luckily enough, I had around 20 seconds left when I did run out of power, so that when I did run out of power, I would essentially just win the night afterwards. Congratulations if you've made it to this point, by the way. It's impressive if you can get here, and I know you can do it if you end up trying it. This can be a very overwhelming and daunting task when you start the game, but I believe almost anyone can do it. This is slightly easier than 50-20 mode, perhaps a lot easier when you get to it, and it may seem like a lot, but eventually you just figure out how to do it. If you can get to this point, then congratulations. You've basically 100% complete the game. I'm not going to do what Ambience did in the 50-20 tutorial where I show you the full night, as you can find that on my channel. I might remake this later on if I end up coming to it, if this video is very bad. However though, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you can make it here, and you deserve what happens next. Goodbye.